Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1015 of our daily content streak, a number, I really don't believe either, but here we are. So, for today's video, I thought we'd do something a little bit more confrontational, a little bit more of like a problem that a lot of us collectors have been going through for the last few years especially, and that is going to be revolving around the release dates of Transformers, because it is something that has become problematic. And while I understand there's going to be people who enjoy this for very obvious reasons, it is problematic, and we need to discuss it. And we need to be like kind of frank about this, okay? So join me, if you will, and please try to keep this whole thing civil if you're going to discuss it in the comments below. I don't want anything getting heated here. We're just going to raise awareness of a problem and why it's such a bad thing. So, let's take a look at an example, shall we? So here is the upcoming Cybertron Hotshot toy from Legacy United. Now, if you are aware, Cybertron is one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, Transformer toy lines of all time. And this is one of my favorite designs from said series. I really, really like Cybertron Hotshot. The only Hotshot I can actually endure. I just think it's a really cool color. I think it's a really cool design. To get one that is higher in articulation and has a little bit more of a modern design sensibility to it, that's really exciting for me. I'm really, really looking forward to this toy and whatever repaints come from it, because I will buy them all. You know, as long as if this toy turns out good. Even if it turns out bad, I'm probably still buying any repaint they do, because there's some cool repaint potentials as well. Likewise, something else slated for September is the Ninja Turtle collaboration Party Wallop. I grew up a Ninja Turtle kid. I was very heavy Ninja Turtles and Transformers. That was my big two. You know, like even when like Power Rangers, Power Rangers, I think was like a third by comparison. And for a while, it's my childhood, right? It's my childhood coming together and merging into this amazing little mashup. And the toy itself, from all the early looks, seems to be pretty good. They've really figured out every bell and whistle this thing needed. I'm really, really looking forward to having it in hand. And yes, I bought a whole set of them, because why would I only display one Ninja Turtle? This is like a dream come true style figure for me. I needed to have a full squad of 4. That's just how it goes. So, September, that's not too bad. I can take a $200 hit sometime in September. Gonna be an expensive month anyway, but that's plenty of time to save up and prepare for that, right? I got this email from Pulse. And no, I don't know why Pulse's emails are formatted in such a bad way that it stretches the image and the name of the image out. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Pulse is kind of broken sometimes, if you haven't noticed. But I was informed that, my order is due to ship soon. That's not what I wanted. That's really not what I wanted. That's 3 months early. That's 3 months early. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very fun to get toys a lot faster than I was expecting. But at the same time, that's a $200 hit that I am going to be absorbing a lot sooner than I thought I would. And that'd actually be fine. You know what? That would actually be okay. However, that's not the only thing that hit at the same time. Here's the list. Here's the list for you. So, here's what's on the way, okay? So far, right now, there's only 2 things that are legitimately on the way. One of them is Nucleon, which, that one I could have canceled if I had more of a heads up. It's only a deluxe, but, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. This one absolutely would have been available if I had waited on it, but this was the first thing I got notified on. So in my brain, I just went, oh, they must have done like a solid case of those, of the Armorizer. So, that one's just getting to me a little bit early. Okay, that's fine. And then Vector Prime. And again, I'm like, okay, one Deluxe and one Voyager. Okay, look, that's not terrible. That's not too much. Those are the ones on the way. And then I know, according to my current listing over on Amazon, my order history, the Deluxe Insecticon 2-pack from from the Mayhem Attack Squad set is apparently going to be arriving on Monday. That wasn't in the plan. That definitely wasn't in the plan. I keep getting email corrections from Amazon on all of these sets going, oh, no, it's coming out 2 weeks earlier. No, it's coming out 2 weeks later. No, it's coming back on its original release date. We're sorry. I've also been notified. I've also been notified that Sideburn is also available. That one is ready to ship now. There's another $25. Okay, there's another one. Just add that one to the pile. Add that one to the list. 86 Bumblebee. There's one I definitely could have canceled because Hasbro stated right from the get-go that one was going to overload the shelves by intention. You will be able to find this. And all that is fine. All that is still fine. Like, this is still like, okay, so the Party Wallop is bad. But at least that's the only bad one, right? At least that's the only hard-hitting one, right? I know Tidal Wave was slated for July. I could swear at one time he was slated for August. One does not expect, like, July 1st, One doesn't expect, like, an immediate in July. Now, granted, Tidal Wave is only a couple of weeks early if he does ship. But somehow, the way distribution shook out, all of these things dropped at the same time. Which is kind of devastating to a budget all at once, don't you think? So here we are. We're at the end. We're in like the back quarter of June at this point, and we have with us toys that are readily available that weren't supposed to be around until 3 months from now. Which, you know what? I can accept like about a 1 month give or take being off. 3 months? An entire quarter of the calendar off? Are you kidding me? This is brutal because like the whole point of a release date is to kind of allow us to prepare ourselves for something to actually become available and actually like plan a budget around when something is coming out. If you have a big game that you are looking forward to, a big video game release, you know the date it's coming out, so you can plan your budget around that $60, $70 purchase. This is randomized. This is completely arbitrary. Now, just by example, just to give you an example of where that puts me in this whole situation, this is just a personal example going here. In 2 weeks, I will be in Tampa, Florida for MetroCon, as I am every summer. And MetroCon is not it's not a terribly expensive trip. It's not a terribly expensive trip, but my car is currently in the shop. I will have to take a rent-a-car to get there, on top of my share of the hotel, food for 4 days, gas bill, money for the artist alley and the dealer room, money for any kind of accidents or incidentals that might come up, etc., 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 etc. It ain't a cheap trip. And now here is like about somewhere around the $500 out of my budget. Now, the thing is, I am fully aware I could cancel a lot of these things because some of it, yes, is already on the way, no changing it now. However, there is a bunch in this pile, the Party Wallop, Tidal Wave. I could take the majority of this out right now just by canceling it immediately. I am unfortunately hesitant to do that because I kind of need new toys for this channel. This channel kind of needs that content, because this is a big part of my income these days. So if I want to review these, and I absolutely want to review Party Wallop especially, I can't sit on that. Yeah, I could wait and just take a pre-order that is still due in September. On the other hand, if I want to review it, and I do, all the reviews, all of everyone else's reviews were done 3 months ago. So by the time I get around to doing a video of it, nobody cares. The only way reviews work is if you have, very, very new when they're very, very fresh. So, yeah, like that one kind of sucks. So me trying to be sensible goes cancel it, but me as on a professional level goes, you kind of need it to come in. If it's going to come in early, you need to get it early just so you're not left in the dust. So that's unfortunately, there's a professionalism to this that I now have to consider. And in the case of Tidal Wave, I don't want it to do what Nemesis did, because when Nemesis came and went, and I don't think I ever saw it in stock really, once in a blue moon. But most of it was done in pre-order, and once it was gone, it was gone. It wasn't like any of the other Titans where you could sit and wait for it to go on clearance. It just vanished. It's not a Titan I was ever really interested in, but the example is there now, and I don't want that to happen to Tidal Wave, because Tidal Wave is a toy I have been looking forward to and been championing, for years now. I want to state this right now. Yeah, $500 out of my budget right now is more than I was anticipating. That said, I'll be fine. Okay? I've got money squirreled aside. I'm making decent money, all things considered. This is not going to hurt me that bad, and my trip to Metrocon is not in any way, shape, or form in danger. So I don't want anyone to think you need to jump onto my Patreon or my Ko-fi and start throwing money at me. Don't. I don't need that. I'll be okay. The trip will go off without a hitch. Everything will be fine. I can absorb this. I am rogue. I am rogue, sugar. I will absorb it. That said, this does affect other things that I have in the pipeline. For instance, Project Starcatcher. I have had more delays on this than I can remember. Once it's finally done, I am going to do a whole video just dedicated to just all the things that the other people involved in this project had to go through while they were working on this with me. Just so you know, all the hardship that went into this. There's a lot going on. Literally everyone I tapped for this project has had one thing or another come up in their personal lives. And I love each and every single one of them for fighting through it and continuing the work. But it's been a lot of setbacks. If I'd known it would get set back this much, I wouldn't have started teasing it in January. That's the only reason why it's been so long, and I still haven't shown you what it is. Trust me, it's going to be worth the wait once it's all done. That said, I was planning to hire a few extra people here at the end of the month in order to work on a few other things that the project needs. Unfortunately, thanks to Hasbro, that has to be set back now. This is a big project and a big investment, but because I need this channel to be as current and up to date as possible, I can't. I have to prioritize those toys, unfortunately. These are just my personal examples of how this screws my budget, because Hasbro can't keep to a release schedule to save their lives. And that's just me, And I'm just talking about, I'm talking about some business stuff with this project, but a lot of it is pleasure stuff. Metrocon's kind of a pleasure trip, even though I turned it into work. And that has nothing to do, if you've got, you've got business trips you have to afford, if you have some big expense that is going to come up at a certain time, dental work, or, maintenance on a car, just something that you've been putting off, something this is going to be fine. I can still get my toys because I don't have to pay for those until 3 months. Boom. How about 2 weeks from now? That's bad. That's bad. I hate to bring it up, but the economy kind of sucks. So, it's really important that we are able to actually budget what we do and what we spend. And it's important that we actually know when this is going to come out. So, for example, I mentioned the video game thing. Imagine a brand new Mega Man game's coming out and everyone's lining up at the door in order to get it first. Hey, this is my dream scenario. Let me have it. It doesn't matter what the video game is. The point is, video games have release dates. You know exactly when it's going to come out. You've never shown up at a Best Buy on the day a video game was launching and they open the door and say, sorry guys, we sold it 2 months ago. We're sold out now. But you said it was coming out today. The ship came into port real early. Sorry about that. Go buy it digitally, I guess. I could say the same thing about a movie. If you go in, if they announce the release date for the Transformer G.I. Joe movie, and you go to the theater that day expecting to go see the movie, and you go in, they tell you, oh, we aired that like 3 months ago. Yeah, it just left the theater last month. That doesn't happen. Any of the entertainment industries, like all of that stuff is on schedule. Comic books themselves, forms of entertainment all have release dates that they adhere to. So it's possible for the industry to do that. They just don't. For some reason, they don't bother with it for the toys. Now, we're going to get a few things out of the way here. We do know from times in the past when Hasbro has announced months that toys are going to come out, what they're actually announcing is not an actual release date, but a saturation date. A saturation date is when they expect you to be able to go into any store and actually find the toy available to purchase, not specifically the exact date that it's going to be made available. I generally find these saturation dates to be complete nonsense. A lot of times the toy is well sold out by the time that date comes around, even online. But that said, we know they're capable of it. Transformer toys have had street dates before. Because when the big live action movies had these toys come out, they actually do have a street date, The first toys for the original live action movie were scheduled for May 1st, 2007, and then the main toys came out June 2nd, about a month ahead of the movie's launch. And that was perfect. That all works out just fine. So they could do it, but they only do it some of the time, which is what gets hard. And it's, again, it's a very limited thing. The only reason they got away with it in the 07 movie is because all they had left at the store was leftover classics, maybe some lingering Cybertron. So that's a whole thing. In later movies, they didn't really bother doing that. They just kind of got thrown into the store whenever. But while the movies were making billions of dollars every release, they actually did try. They actually did have street dates. Now, we know this is possible because over in Japan, they can tell you the exact date that toys are coming out. That's kind of cool. I really wish we had that over here. So you ask, why? Why don't we have that over here? Blame the retailers. Blame the big box stores. Walmart, Target, they don't care. To them, it's just one long ongoing product line. And the individual series, and especially the individual waves, don't matter to them anymore. All they know is, ship us this new product, and when our stores run low and they request more, maybe we'll ship out the new stuff instead of the lingering boxes of old stuff we got collecting dust. And that's basically it. That's basically how it goes. They don't care. As soon as, it's because it's all product. All Walmart and Target want is to keep the shelves looking full. Unless it's, my Walmart and Target where they're completely content with the wall being completely bare for a month at a time. Minor frustration. I had to get that one out. That said, we're in an age where a lot of us collectors just order it online. We have, Amazon, we have Entertainment Earth, we have Big Bad Toy Store, and, all these others where we just buy it. We can just buy whenever. And those stores are warehouses. You know, they're not concerned with keeping shelves full, and they aren't concerned of like when they're out of shelves, you know, when like they're still overloaded on shelf space so they can't take in anything new. They could actually adhere to an actual release date. And if there was an honest release date involved, I would be completely fine with that. But because Walmart and Target have so much power, they don't do that. You know, they want dates that accurately represent their shelf life and their shelf space, which sucks because it is extremely misleading for us. Ultimately, it is something Hasbro could put the effort into actually fixing, but for whatever reason, they do not. You know, they could push it on the retailers, hey, we need this to come out on a certain date. You know, we need people to know they can come in on this day and get it. You know, or they could say, like, look, we'll announce release dates for you, but we got to be honest with our online retailers. You know, but they don't do that. Here's what I would do. Hasbro, since this seems to be a consistent problem, I would ask, why not just pull your dates back by like a month? Because if this is so consistently what's going on, then clearly the production line is faster than you're giving it credit. So you need to pull that date back just by a month, just so we know for sure. And it shouldn't be a saturation date. It really should be as close to the release date as possible, so it doesn't come off like you're deceiving or tricking your audience, or, you know, accidentally screwing them out of their budget. No, that's within their power. In fact, I would take it even farther. I would say pull the release date back by 2 months. I think that's what most of us collectors pretty much expect these days. And I'll give you this. If a toy is late, that's better than it coming in early. And don't get me wrong, I love getting the toy a little bit earlier than I expected to. I love the fact that I'm going to be playing with Tidal Wave about a month earlier than I thought I would be. That said, it is problematic. It is like problematic to my overall life at the same time. So when I look at that, I think to myself, I would rather you tell me a very early date, and that way, if it actually, you know, like, tell me like if it's coming out. If you were gonna tell me it's gonna come out in October or September, tell me it's coming out in July. Because even if it really does come out in September, or at least if it comes, or even in August, at least then, if it's late from what you actually told me, if you told me July, and I set money aside for July and it doesn't come out, I can just keep that money aside, and whenever it comes in, I'm good. But it just screws up too much when it comes in early. That's a problem. That's got to get fixed. Even if you're lying to us, it's got to get fixed, because it's causing more problems than it is causing benefits. And I'm kind of tired of so much of my stuff kind of getting screwed over because stuff's coming in way too fast. So that's my little soapbox for the day. Feel free to argue it in the comments below, as long as you keep it civil. Yeah, there is the plus of getting toys a lot earlier than you were hoping for, but there is the minus of it causing a lot of budgetary issues. There's two sides to this, so keep it civil, everybody. And with that, I will thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.